We've just arrived at RIEVAULX Terrace and Temples, and this is a National Trust property, as you can probably see, and I last came here about 40 years ago, so I don't suppose they've changed at all. So this is the start of the walk to the Tuscan Temple. These flowers are a bulb type flower, and we got some of these from Wales about 20 years ago, and took them home, put them in the garden, and they're still flowering. We haven't got a clue how far this walk is, because as I said, it's been 40 years.
This walks to where?
Since I came, and just can't remember. I know the temples are up high and you look down on the Abbey. That's all I can remember. Well, I'm sure it must be about 10 minutes later and we're still walking.
These are dark blue, aren't they?
Lovely deep bluebells there. Yeah. Lovely deep colour. There. Haven't got a clue where we're going now. Wind's getting up through here, so I'll put my hand over the microphone, or my fingers. Oh, look at the pretty flowers.
Rhododendron.
Rhododendrons. Oh, there they are. There we are. Look, as they're down there, look.
Oh. Just come through the wood in our area.
The last time I filmed rhododendrons was a couple of weeks ago up in Scotland. We are in the third week in May 2007.
Oh, actually.
It's lilac.
Yes, look, those
yeah.
are them from here.
They're not rhododendrons, they're lilac.
Yeah.
It's because they were in the distance and we could not see.
Yeah.
You see, we could not see.
Yeah, that's a little while ago.
Well, there's one of the temples there, look a bit closer now, someone having their picture taken. Having people in the picture gives you a better idea of how big the temple is. That's a big jump. There's all markings, carvings round the top. I don't know what they rep. It looks like some kind of animal head up there. Quite a height.
All the way around.
Huge stone pillars.
Yeah.
This is inside the temple. You see the stone floor all nicely laid out. It looks very Roman, doesn't it? A nice table there.
Mosaic floor.
That's not. I don't think it's mosaic, is it?
Well, it's a little bit.
Right, yes, it is mosaic type. Yeah.
Tiles, yeah.
But it's stone rather than tiles, I think.
It's bits of tiles stuck down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willy-nilly by the look of it.
So we've just got the doors this side,
yeah.
and one window that side.
Yeah.
Over the years, people have left their mark.
Douglas is there.
Yeah, there's one there, 1957, look.
I think it's been here a lot longer.
2004.
Sorry, mate.
I don't think 40 years ago when I came that I scrawled my name on the wall. It wasn't the thing that we did when we were children. So, there you go, anyway. Some more nice lilac down there, look. So moving away from that temple, and there is some more to see up here on the hill, but we do get a glimpse of where we're going next, and that is down there to the ruins of the Abbey. And right beneath us on this bank are cowslips. One of the most difficult flowers to grow in your garden. You could dig up, you could plant seeds, but they never seem to grow. Well, not in my garden anyway. Well, all along this bank are naturally grown, I nearly forgot the name, cowslips. I've just been talking to Ernie, saying how you can't get them to grow in your garden, but they'll grow naturally just from a seed dropped in the grass. And there we are, there's a better shot of the old Abbey down there. And you can no doubt hear the wind blowing the trees. I think it'll be a bit calmer down there in the valley. So it won't be long before we're down there. Meanwhile, have a look at the lilac. Beautiful colour. You see, how wrong can you be? Ernest just pointed out that it says on that notice that seeds for cowslips have been collected and sprinkled on the bank, and they are growing. So it proves what I said is totally wrong. Close-up view. I think we're getting towards the end of this walk now. I think the valley was probably gouged out during the Ice Age. And here we are back up on the bank, and the other temple. You can see by the height of the people walking up the steps how big this temple is. So we'll have a look and see if there's anything of interest inside.
I have to say no filming.
Well, if you want my opinion, you probably heard the guy saying there. I walked straight in and started using my camera, which I know you are not supposed to do in National Trust properties. But I think to pay £4.60 to see two temples like that is a hell of a lot of money. I think the views over the Abbey are worth a couple of quid at least, but I think the price for this by the National Trust is a bit over the top. We've come right down the bank now from the temples, and just through the trees there is the ruins of the Abbey, and the entrance and car park is just down there, as you can see, 240 metres. But this is a little village here before we go to the Abbey, and look at that lovely pretty country garden. I think that is beautiful. This is the road we've just travelled down to get to the Abbey, and there's a church there. Don't know whether it's open, don't know anything about it, so we're going to have a look and we'll see what happens. That's a better view of it, isn't it? What do you think to that? Very old the church is, and there's a notice down here that says keep away from the side walls because you might get hit by a tile, especially with the wind the way it is today. And we'll see if we can take a look inside, shall we? Let's have a look. Oh yes, yes. Oh look, very nice. Just a very simple church with a timber roof. Very simple organ, but I dare say that is very, very, very old. Few dead flowers there. I think they ought to. Someone must look after the church. They could quite easily revitalise those from the flowers in the village's garden. There's some more over there. But oh, what a beautiful stained glass window. Outside the church at the front entrance is this tomb. Even got a tiled roof. But can't find out whose tomb it is. And just here, built into the bank, right, the earth bank, is a wall and a little shed. I'm showing you that because of the holes that are cut in the doors. From that church, past this residential property, and just over there you've got the Methodist Church. Here you've got some old farm buildings and a cottage, and then the hill there climbs back up onto the main road. But at the moment we're going to go back down there to the Abbey. I don't know how many 100 years old that clock is, but I can tell you that it is the correct time. I do believe the hand just moved then. That is on the church spire. Well, that cottage backs onto, I'm going to call it RIEVAULX, I think that's how it's pronounced, but this village is called RIEVAULX, the village of RIEVAULX. I suppose I'm pronouncing it wrong, but like we say, who's to know any difference? Look at that red telephone box, disturbing the dogs. Red telephone box, and I think there's a post box tucked in there as well. And that goes down, I presume, to the Abbey car park. So, here we are now at RIEVAULX Abbey at long last. Sorry to keep you waiting. And I think this might be a better bargain than up at the temples. What you do here, which is a weird setup, this is all belongs to the English heritage, this does, the car park and everything. You go to the pay and display ticket and buy a car parking ticket for £6. You then walk over there and pay £3.40 per person. That is for the concessions, like me and poor old Ernie, who are poor, hard-up old age pensioners. And when you buy your ticket, they give you your £6 back. Oh well, that's all I'm going to say. Let's go and have a look at the Abbey. Well, I'll start off with a little bit of the history. Abbot William and 12 monks from the monastery at Clairvaux in France came to establish a religious house of the Cistercian order. They founded RIEVAUX Abbey in 1132 on land given by Walter Esper, Lord of Helmsley. The first Cistercian monastery was founded in 1098 at Cîteaux in France. Well, there might be nice blue sky up there, but believe it or not, Keith has just put his hat on because it's starting to rain a little bit. I'm sure it's only a short, sharp shower. That looks lovely, doesn't it? Been standing there all those years. See up there in between those trees? Well, that is the second of the temples that we visited. Way up there. We looked down on this abbey, if you remember, when we was up on the hills. A view here just looking down the valley. I've got my back to the abbey, and up the top of that bank is where the temples are. That's owned by the National Trust, which I didn't approve of the cost of going to see two temples, but that's by the by. This is owned by English Heritage. And as you walk around, you've got various information boards. This one, a shining light of northern monasticism. Imagine how this site must have looked when the buildings were complete. The abbey buildings with their whitewashed walls stood out clearly against the hillside. The monks developed farms and industry in the abbey lands, which were scattered throughout northern England. We've got a little blackbird down there, look, getting its food. I bet that's for its babies, I bet.
Unbelievable.
Going to go inside there in a moment. Once again showing the scene with people in the foreground, give you some idea of the magnificence and the height of this abbey. Just magnificent, isn't it? Unbelievable how all those hundreds of years ago people could build things like this. I just find it incredible. So I'm standing right in the middle of the abbey. There's the high altar. I'm just going to take you up and twist you round the best I can. A bit on the trembly side, but Nearly sends me dizzy when I do that. There you are. I hope you enjoyed this visit to the temples and the Abbey.